What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into this. Canadians are avoiding the U.S. Will its economy suffer? Probably. Probably. So, Canadians are avoiding the U.S. Now, a lot of people are avoiding the U.S. around the world, boycotting, saying they don't like the American products. They're not spending money on American products. They're not going to visit America. They're not giving America none of their money. And rightfully so. Me as an American, I agree with you guys. Keep your money. Don't fund them or us. You want to say? Don't fund us, because right now, the person in office, he's not doing what he's supposed to do, and he's causing a ruckus. But our friends from the north they visit America the most. Tourism from Canadians are the most. They're the country that visits America the most, and they spend a lot of money in America when they go visit. Now they're boycotting it. I did the video yesterday, if you haven't seen it, where Canadians are having a lot of trouble at Border Patrol. Border Patrol, they're checking phones. They're getting rid of all the... Listen, if you have any Trump slander, you can be denied entry into America. So let's get in this video and see what's going on, and see, and let's talk about it. Have a conversation. Like always, if you're new to the channel, please let me know where you are chiming in from, and I will be sure to drop you a hello. Besides that, let's go.
So there's been a lot of talk from Canadians saying, I don't want to go to the U.S. anymore.
This week we were planning on going, but we decided to make a different decision.
We're boycotting them for sure.
We have to stand up for Canada. You know, they're poking us in the eye, so we got to poke them back.
And there are
That's
surveys
right.
too. One where more than 60% of people said they planned to avoid travel to the U.S. this year entirely. But again, lots of people say things. It's been harder to know how real this apprehension was until now, because the data is in. The drop is significant, and Americans have noticed in a big way.
Canadian Airlines are taking away flights to popular U.S. cities. This after many Canadian vacationers apparently are avoiding the U.S.
It is having not only a negative impact on the tourism market, but business as a whole.
We're seeing pretty seismic developments in terms of the number of people that are willing to go to the U.S. right now.
It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
And here's the thing. More Canadians pour into the U.S. every year than people from any other country in the world. So we wanted to know just how much does this drop actually hurt the U.S.?
Let's find out.
Let's start with the turning point. The moment data started to show something real was happening here. This red line shows how many people traveled by land from Canada to the U.S. between October and February of this year, compared to the orange line, which is last year's travel data. Superimposing the lines like this, you can see how this year's travel numbers have actually been higher than the previous years since October, but then the two lines split apart from each other in February, which was, if you think back, right around the time the US and Canada began phase one of a fresh trade fight.
The White House confirming tonight that a 25% tariff on Canadian imports will take effect on Tuesday.
Canadians are fully united from coast to coast to coast to stand up for this extraordinary and beautiful country.
And
That's right,
brand new Canadian data seems to show this sharp downturn in travel actually accelerated in March, with a 32% drop in Canadian return trips from the US by car year over year, which is also the lowest number of Canadians coming back over the border since 2022, when Canadians really had good reasons to stay home, with COVID testing, vaccine mandates, cross-border quarantine measures still in place.
A lot of people obviously voting with their wallets and saying, you know what, we're going to stay closer to home. We're not going to spend our hard-earned money there while we deal with Trump's tariffs and Trump's 51st state taunts.
And the drop in Canadians booking flights to the U.S. is pretty substantial too. According to the travel agency Flight Center, 40% fewer Canadians booked vacations to American cities in February, and 1 in 5 Canadians actually canceled their trips to the U.S. over the past 3 months.
After I get cancellation emails from my clients, some of whom have been my clients for over 2 decades, I come back to them and like,
Who is he?
guys, it's Trump, right? It's politics, it's policy, it's he being mean, and is that why the cancellations are happening? And they're coming back to me. It's 1,000%. 1,000%.
For
It's
sure.
Trump's policies and politics, and we are sorry.
And airlines
You better
are noticing,
believe it.
some allocating tens of thousands fewer seats from Canada to the US this April. United Airlines even going so far as to cancel a new daily route between Toronto and LA that it had planned to start up in May. So here's where the problem becomes really real, because Canada-US travel was supposed to have been ramping up, right? And as we've been approaching the busiest time of year, the summer months, what happens if this drop keeps dropping? The shock could be big.
They'll be missed. I mean, we're going to feel it, a big impact in our pocket end of the season if they don't show up this year.
According to the U.S. Travel Association, in 2024, about 20 million Canadians either drove or flew south, and the majority of them to either New York, Florida, Arizona, Texas, or California.
Even local officials in Las Vegas are saying what's going on with Canada right now is a problem for us and growth opportunities for us.
Because just think about it. Every single activity that these Canadian visitors book, every meal they eat, every hotel they stay at, that's money being pumped into the U.S. economy. Last year, Canadians spent over $20 billion in the United States. That's twice as much as what Americans spent at McDonald's in 2024, and almost as much as what the entire U.S. gym and fitness industry pulls in each year. And not only does this amount of money help fuel local business, it also creates jobs. The U.S. Travel Association estimates about 140,000 of them. So what happens when some of that money starts to disappear?
To give you an idea, in like actual dollar bills, 2024, my company grossed $35,000 exclusively from Canadian high school kids coming to New York City for their class trip. 2025, 5,000 and going down because I still get cancellations every other week. I hire 15 tour guides and they all work for me as well as other companies. My inability to hire them to do what they love, which is share their passion and their energy and their excitement about the greatest city in the world, it sucks, man. It's really, really rough.
And some American businesses make so much money off Canadians, they've actually built their entire business models around them.
Richard Clavet looks forward to Canadian Snowbirds coming to Florida every year.
They create bond here and friendship.
Canadians have filled his motels for the past 35 years, but this year was different.
With Canadians right now, we're about 30%. When we should be more like around 80%. So it's a big drop.
Wow. To put this in broader terms, it's estimated about 1 million Canadians, mostly retired, travel to the U.S. every winter. And that group, they're not just staying for days, even weeks. Many of them spend months, if not half the year, south of the border, which creates an expectation from local businesses that they and their money keep coming.
I live here 6 months. This is my home. But I'm leaving April 2nd.
I actually feel guilty that I'm here.
If you have... Wow. Listen here. They say one way to hurt a man is to hit him in the pockets. Donald Trump. You're here with that bully ball, trying to have things your way, and it's costing the American economy. It's ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous.
Approximately 1 million snowbirds going away. They're spending money on vacation rentals when they go there. They're also engaging in activities. They're going out to eat. They're doing other things locally. So you're talking in the billions of dollars.
And think about the little guy, the smaller vacation towns close to the border that might feel the financial impact the most. The Adirondacks in New York State. About 130,000 people live there full time. But figure, up to 6 times that many Canadians, 600,000 people, visit every year, both in the summer and in the winter.
We've seen individual families choosing not to come. We've heard of whole hockey teams choosing not to come to some of our international sporting events, and then some group travel bookings, bus tours, etc., have also canceled.
This is from a local Adirondack newspaper, referring to a survey suggesting 66% of businesses in the area have already seen a decrease in Canadian bookings for 2025. And their regional tourism office figures with even just a 20% drop in Canadian visitors, businesses in the area would see a decrease of $12 million in spending.
A lot of communities that are really dependent on Canadian tourism are really suffering right now. They're really having a difficult time.
And let's drill down even more, because forget big splashy vacations. Think about Canadians living right along the border who don't necessarily even think about the US as a destination per se, because they're just driving across the border to go to Target or Trader Joe's or to, I don't know, hit a mall, see a concert, go to a ball game.
You think of Walden Galleria in Buffalo. I mean, you look at the license plates in the parking lot, and there are a lot of Ontario plates there each and every day. They're almost entirely dependent on Canadians and Canadian tourism and day trippers who just go for a few hours and spend their money there.
And do not underestimate the importance of this, because just to give you one example, county executives in that Buffalo Niagara area say in February, their records show a 7% decrease in sales tax revenue. That, they say, is at least in part because there are fewer Canadians paying sales tax.
Certainly in my hometown of Buffalo, where Canadians come over all the time and they go to our sporting events, they shop in our stores, so sales tax revenues are dropping already.
And that'll affect fire and safety and police force and everything else. Sales taxes in a lot of communities, people don't realize, are paid for by tourism.
And this is worth underlining because tax revenue might actually be the most meaningful way in which a Canadian travel boycott could affect the United States. So think about it this way. Let's say this trend continues and there's something like a 20% drop in the number of Canadian visitors to the US this year. That would work out to something like 4 million people fewer traveling. Economists predict that that would cost the US about $4.3 billion in lost revenue. Now, the sales tax rate varies by state. On average, let's call it about 5%. So 5% of 4.3 billion, you divide that number by 20, what you end up with is something like $200 million less in tax revenue.
And when that's gone or it seriously declines, people notice. That's money that's not easily replaced by Americans. A lot of lawmakers are saying the current situation is not good for my state. We need to make some changes. We need to bring the Canadians back. So I think that we are having an impact.
Question is, to what extent, if at all, can the damage be undone? Or does it only get worse from here?
The government of Canada has updated its travel advice for anyone going to the U.S.
It warns that U.S. Border Patrol has the authority to search phones, laptops, or tablets with no reason.
Our old relationship of steadily deepening integration with the United States is over.
Now, if we've learned anything over the past few weeks, it's that what the Trump administration does next cannot be predicted. So ruling out anything as impossible is just foolish. But the trajectory is clear, and there is a cost to alienating allies.
Andrew Chang brought that fire. Yeah, man, it's gonna, listen, trying to do this, trying to strengthen the American economy by alienating our allies, not welcoming them to our country, trying to force them to be the 51st. They don't want to be. So you're doing all these tariffs and stuff like this, trying to get this isn't the way to go again. This isn't the way. Even a blind person knows that this isn't the way to do this. This isn't the way to do this. This is horrible. And probably, yes, they probably don't want to boycott the U.S. If everything was okay, they probably love going to their tourist destinations every year. Like the lady said, she lived there for 6 months and then goes to Canada 6 months. She probably loves doing that. Probably don't want to boycott, but she has to. She's Canadian. They're Canadian. They got to stick together, guys. Stick together. As long as Trump is doing this nonsense, stick together. Boycott. We're going to have to hit them in the pockets. For sure. That's the way to do it. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. This was very interesting. Andrew Chang, thank you. I'm going to put the link to the description. Link to the video in the description. Great video. I like his channel. I'm going to have to check out some more videos. Well, I like his video, so I'm going to have to check out some more on there. But anyway, let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. It's sad. It's sad, man. It's sad that today the world is turning into this turmoil. We got to boycott our allies, people that's been there for us. You know, we've been helping each other. You know, even there's Americans that go to Canada to vacation. Come on, it goes to both ways. And now we just ruining relationships. I don't like it at all. But let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video.